Hi, I am Melissa Banko, and welcome to the Banko Buzz, a commercial interior design podcast. As a professional leader in our design industry, we found that there were a lot of questions that were coming to me and to us about business and growth and mentorship and really the people behind the design. So we created the Banko Buzz. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for joining us on the Banko Buzz. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the Banko Buzz. I have one of my favorite industry partners here with me today, Miss Emily Hatch. And we are so excited to have you on today. We're going to be talking about your role sort of in this commercial design industry and all the cool things that you get to do day to day. And we're also going to be talking about mommyhood because you are a new mommy. And we're going to be talking about being a working mom, how to support working moms, what all that entails. So we're super excited to have Miss Emily on today. Hey, Emily, thanks for coming and hanging out.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And thank you for that very warm intro. I feel like I'm appreciative that my star is getting recognized and elevated. So
Yes.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome for the recognition. She will be, we can follow the links below, and you can also follow her in our social channels. So yes, we're just excited to have you here today. So, hey, give our audience a little bit of background because it's always helpful to have that context as we start to talk about the current roles that we're in. We're talking a lot this season on seasons of life and seasons of our careers and how we get to where we are and just some of that journey along the way. So give our audience a little feedback and a little map out. You're a rep now. How long have you been a rep? And then what were the milestones along the way that got you to your current role? So give us some of that feedback.
Absolutely. So I started school in the interior design program, and quickly 2008, 2009, the economy crash happened. So I kind of pivoted during that time, and I majored in business, minored in interior design. Stayed in the design community throughout all of that as an intern. And then once I graduated, I was actually lucky enough to land a gig with a stone and tile company. My dad is a tile installer, so
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
yep, I started to install tile when I was about 10 or 11. So I come by it honest. He was able to help me get an interview with the Tile and Stone Company. So I've kind of progressed from there. I did residential design in Savannah for a little while. And then I actually had a recruiter reach out to me to become a rep, which I had not learned a ton about being a rep, in school or anything like that. But I am a very extroverted person. So it really kind of fit my personality. I started with Dow Tile probably 11 years ago. So I've been a rep now 11 total years, and then with TileBar for the past 6 years. So it just really seemed like a great fit. The fact that I could still use my creative side and, work in the design space, but be in more of like a sales, customer facing role. So
Well, and I think that's really cool because in school, I think that a lot of us take that ID track, or those of us that are interested in that industry, right? We take this design track, this interior design track. And I think later in that program, some of us go, I don't know that I'm learning business. And so that maybe is a tack on or something that we start to think about when we think about owning our own company and how do you do that, or working for a company and understanding sort of the logistics of the business side of it. And so I think it's really cool that you pivoted and it was, hey, let me focus on business and have that ID, sort of as a tack. It was just a different way to go about that. But I think there's a cool lesson there that there are different paths that you can take using that creative side of your brain and that business side of your brain, and then what do you do in the market? So, what would you say to somebody who was like, hey, I really enjoy this industry, this design track, but I do think that my skill set would be better suited for sort of a sales role, because I think that maybe the majority of those who are reps started at a traditional firm and then took the track. So what would you say if I was a young person who was like, hey, younger, was thinking about going into sales? Do you really feel like that creative cup is filled and that you get a good, sort of flex of all sides? So what would be your advice to a young person who's thinking about being a rep, maybe ever going to a traditional firm?
Yeah, so I think that my biggest thing would be find a product that you really love. Find something that is really inspiring to you and something that you can get excited about. Tile for me, I'm just, like I said, I have a history in tile, so I'm a total tile nerd, but I, to this day, get boxes from TileBar and open them up and am just so excited to see the latest and greatest innovation in tile. And I think that that really comes through in my presentations, that I'm as excited about the tile, as I can be to show a product. So I think that, kind of honing in on what it is that you maybe loved about the design process and kind of like pulling that through to a sales position would be a really, really good start.
Because you got to love it, right? Or it's not going to come across as like, okay, this gal's just peddling the next thing, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
there's so many avenues and sort of verticals within our industry that you can focus on. I think we get a bad rap. I think sometimes like you can practice being a designer, maybe again at a traditional firm, you could be a rep or maybe you could teach. And that's really not true. There's all of these hyper focuses and components that make up these bigger projects that you can get involved with as a designer, product development, product design, all of those things. So I think that's really great advice to sort of explore that and keep your mind open, especially those of you still in school, that there are different avenues that you can take aside from maybe the most popular ones.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
okay. So we're repping. You're an amazing rep. It's not only the product, that someone is selling, but it's also the personality and the person behind, who we gravitate to, right? It's those relationships. So, great rep of ours. You have just been, your energy is next level. We love having you in. What's your favorite Banko event? What's your favorite?
I mean,
Is it Banko Boat Day?
hands down, Banko Boat Day.
Banko Boat Day.
It's just such a great time to get together outside of the office and, kind of let loose and have a few cocktails and hang out with everybody and to see everybody's, partners or significant others. That's just a really cool relationship builder. It's like you said, this industry is all about relationships. There's
is.
1,000 people that sell tile, but what I want to offer to you and your firm is that relationship and that trust. And I think that that is something that is not built overnight. It's definitely something that, comes with the Banko boat days, the happy hours, the, lunches, everything like that. It's just getting to know each other and feeling a really a comfortability with one another and trusting each other. Because, anybody can show you product, anybody can take you out for a cocktail, but it's really at the end of the day, we're all buying from who we like and who we trust and, who's going to show up for you when you're in a pinch and you need something the next day. So,
Yeah, you don't buy product from companies, you buy product from people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and even in the service industry, I mean that's true of who we market to. We are selling the brand and the company and sort of that aesthetic and that sort, but it's really the people that our clients are with day to day and what that experience looks like. So that does drip through in every aspect of our industry.
Hi, I'm Melissa Banko, founder and visionary here at Banko Design. Welcome to season 2 of the Banko Buzz, where we are focusing on all of the seasons that each of us go through in our career paths. We're talking to lots of partners and consultants and advocates for our industry. Tune in and follow us along this entire season. And also, you can find us on anywhere that you listen to your podcasts.
So totally agree with you on that. So you recently became a mama.
I did.
How exciting. So
Thank you.
this is a tough industry as a female to balance working and momming.
Yeah.
And I'm a season or two ahead of you. So my oldest is going to be 21 this year, which is absolutely crazy because she was such a little bit when I started my career. And a lot of my decisions were around her. And then we had the boys a little bit later. And it's tough. And I don't know that we talk enough about just how tough it is. Being a working mom is hard no matter what you do. But this industry is really demanding. And from my side, being at a firm and having clients and you from a rep perspective and being on call for us crazies who, are calling in the middle of the, day, can you get something here, by the end of the day or tomorrow? It's demanding. It's hard to figure out that balance. Do you feel like you've struck a balance already? How is that going so far in sort of this trying to figure that out.
Yeah, so I feel like I will always be navigating that balance. I think that, to be honest with you, looking back at our journey, trying to have a baby, I was actually a little bit nervous about being a rep and having a child, because talking about building relationships, it's like my job is a lot of entertaining. It's a lot of after hours events. It's a lot of kind of being that fun time girl and everything. And I'm like, oh crap, is everybody just gonna think I'm a lame mom now, and like I can't relate to these youngins anymore, and I don't have anything to bring to the table, like to talk about their hinge dates and everything. So I was nervous. I will say that since coming back after having a child, people love a baby. I cannot
People love a
believe
baby.
it.
I'm pissed when you come in the studio and the baby's not with you.
I know. People,
the audacity.
people love it. They love a baby. And I've always loved babies. I've always, thought they were adorable and can't wait to see pics and this and that. But it is wild, the amount of people that are like, send us a picture. We want to meet her, So that has been really, really refreshing.
Because you built relationships with those people, and it wasn't that superficial, again, like she's just selling me tile. Like people were invested in you. So
that's a really great point. I think that to see the genuine excitement for our family and everything from my clients, it's been so refreshing and so heartwarming to see that people are truly happy that it happened for us, that that we were able to have a baby. And it's been overwhelmingly positive. I will say we are incredible lucky that we have a little girl that sleeps through the night.
Like, oh, you're an asshole.
I know. Trust me. I know. My sister-in-law said
I'd like for you to pause, write a book,
right,
and then we will commence the podcast.
Yeah, right. She does. I will say, on the other hand, she doesn't nap. She's not a napper.
Okay.
So
she's a party all day. I'm gonna get in my solid. Hey, I mean, take what you can get, mama.
Absolutely. So, but, I think that the hardest part for me, and I actually was talking to another rep recently that just became a mother, that kind of shared the same sentiment, is the after hours thing.
Yeah.
So we're trying to really just be smart with our time and respectful with our time, because I have an incredible husband that is a very hands-on dad, and he is great about taking on that extra load when I need him to. But it's just instead of just going out every night just to go out or whatever, it's being very smart and mindful of the people that we are taking out, the activities that we are doing, and kind of just getting the best bang for our buck with the after hours events.
Well, and like you said it best, I think it's not that you weren't being smart with your time pre-motherhood, but it is a little bit more strategic. And I think you do have to be a little bit more thoughtful on the ROI on that time, because you now have a very demanding client who's 24/7, and you want to do right by her. You want to do right by investing time in your family, and there is a way to do that. You mentioned having a really great partner, and I'm blessed with also a very hands-on husband and dad, and we looked at each other a couple years into starting Banko, and it was like, hey, this isn't working. We're like ships passing in the night. And to be able to have candid conversations with your partner, like, this is what I need for us. Not that this is what I need for me and my career, but I think this is what I need for us. And Dave ended up staying home with the kids, and it worked for our family. It's gender role reversal in a lot of ways still, which is, whack, and doing our part to change that narrative. But having somebody who can help, and whether that's, and everybody's village looks different. I think the advice that I would have as a mama who's a little bit more seasoned than you is you just have to find the village, whatever that village looks like for you. Some of us are really blessed with great partners. It can be family, it can be friends, it can be coworkers. Right. We talk a lot about family first here at Banko, and that we try to do what we can as coworkers to support each other in these seasons of life, and certainly motherhood, because not all companies, even in 25, are really built to support families, not just moms, but families, because, which I think is backwards, right? Like if you're investing in somebody and that they're thriving personally, they're going to give you tenfold that energy, you know, at work.
Absolutely.
So I think that's great that you have that partner. You were joking with me when I asked about the baby recently. She's like, it's really his baby.
I mean, I am the hired help.
I feel that way when James like, I'm here. I can be fun too.
Right, exactly. It's so funny. And my friends are like, how's Paul's baby? I'm like, he's thriving. Thank you.
Who does she look more like, you or him?
I feel like she looks like him.
Okay. It's usually like that with girls.
Yeah.
Abe
I
looks
think
just
that
like
she does his expressions too. She'll do like the 1,000-mile stare where she's just like, and I'm like, that's
he's
you.
thinking.
Yeah, right.
Does she have her own podcast as well? Or is that just, has that been handed down?
I believe she might be a guest on Paul's very popular podcast, Super Serial.
Sure.
You heard that
Baby
right.
Cereal, that could be an episode.
I mean, I think
Write that one down.
write that down. TM trademark.
So you were saying that there was some fear behind becoming a mama, and was it just that you didn't know you weren't sure how to multiply the time, the energy?
Definitely. I mean, that's a huge factor, but it's also about, you know, losing yourself as both a professional and an individual. I think that everyone in our industry really thrives on creativity, and, you know, we really kind of see ourselves as creatives. And, you know, when you bring a child into the picture, it's like, what does that look like after you are balancing the home life and your career? So for me, you know, it's always been important to have a career. And that's just what drives me. And so, yeah, I feel like the first thing was definitely time management. And then it was also doing things that helped me thrive professionally and creatively. And I think like you said, having a great partner definitely helps. I think it's also looking at our industry and just being thankful that, you know, with coworkers, with clients, everybody just kind of lifting you up. It's been such an incredible experience, and I was not expecting it. I just felt like it was so, I don't know, almost commonplace that, you know, people have kids and this and that. And it's just like, I've seen an entirely different side of our industry that I've been really, really happy to see after.
That's
having a
really
child.
cool. And that you have that, you know, sort of that perspective, you know, after having a baby, and that things changed. And I want to kind of go back to your comment about losing yourself. So have you felt mom guilt yet? Where yeah,
absolutely. I try really hard. I've got, you know, a few girlfriends that have kids around the same age, and they're like, oh my God, did you read this? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't care what people think. Like, I'm doing great. No, I definitely have the mom guilt. I even internally, I'm like, does she know who I am? Does she love me? You know, because I'm out of the house all day and Paul is here with her. And so, yeah, I've definitely got the guilt when I'm, you know, doing after hours events and he's putting her to bed and everything. So trying to balance that has been difficult, but yeah, just navigating that moving forward.
Well, and not only, so I feel like it can be flipped, like, and this is very vulnerable and raw, and I've talked to girlfriends about this. Again, my kids are older than your little. The mom guilt doesn't ever go away. I think it's a good gut check. I think that we actually are instilled with it to keep us balanced, as a, you know, just a general reminder that you need that balance. You can't sway one way, too much career, too much, you know. And I think that as long as that balance is there, that's the necessary thing. And I read somewhere that as a working mom, that there are always going to be seasons where you feel like you're investing more in career. And then you have the guilt that you're not there for your kids. And then flipped, where there's seasons where you feel like I'm winning as a mom right now. Like I feel good, you know, whatever that may be, and more involvement in schools or whatever it is, summer. But then you feel guilty that you're not bringing enough to your career, and that through, sort of your cycle of your work journey, that it's going to go up and down, and it's okay and it's healthy for that to be a thing, that it's up and down, as long as it's up and down. Right. So, but I think, I don't know that men carry it as much as we do. I think we have, again, I have, great partner and, great dad. But I don't know that they feel that same way about being present.
Yeah.
And having that guilt. I don't know. I just, I don't know. I guess we'd have to bring on, and bring on some gentlemen and see. Right. But I think the expectation is different still. In 2025, I think the expectation is different. I think it's, well, you're the female, you're the mom, you should be home.
Right.
And that's what makes you a good mom, it's like time. And in traveling, that's another question of like how you balance that, because our jobs aren't just the 9 to 5, right? It's not just like answering emails or entertaining clients or being with, folks during the day. I mean, it does drip into conferences and travel and having to be out of town and going to see out of town clients. And so it's hard to balance that travel piece. But, there's comments I think that come to females that maybe don't go to our male counterparts, like, oh, you have to travel again, you're going to be away from your family. And it's like, do men get that comment that, oh no, you have to travel? Because I'm actually blessed that I get to travel because I'm helping, grow a company and all those sorts of things. So I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, no, and I hear what you're saying. And I feel the same way, that it's also like the guilt that I have is wanting to work.
Because you were saying I don't want to lose myself, right? So you feel guilty that you want that? Is that
exactly? I just, that's the internal guilt where I'm like, oh God, am I a bad mother? Because I want to work and I want to be away from the house, and I want to do things on my own, because that really fuels me. And you read so many things where it's like you have to have happy parents, for them to be good parents. And I think that that's a huge thing for me. There's just to fill my cup is to work. But you do feel guilty that I've never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I think that's the hardest job in the entire world. And I'm not just saying that, like after being home for 3 months on maternity leave, holy shit. Yeah. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I need the break.
But then you say to yourself, like, am I less of a woman because I couldn't, I'm not built that way, I guess. I don't know. It's just different things work for different women, work for different moms. I don't disagree with you. I think being a stay-at-home mom that's truly a 24/7 shift, And,
Paul wanted to be a stay-at-home dad long before we had a child. So he's really trying to lean into this. I won't let him quit his job yet, but.
But again, it's just navigating through those feelings. And I don't know that you can ever really prepare anybody for those feelings, and sort of that analyzation of who I am as a female. What do I really want out of my career? What can I balance? How does this work? It's just a lot. It's a lot to navigate through. It's tricky. And what's wild is being a working mom, all the seasons are different. So I was actually talking to a gal the other day, and her kids are grown. Her last just graduated high school. And so she's going to be an empty nester soon. And she said to me, even these last 4 years with my youngest before, going out to college, I thought the hard part was when they were infants. And the seasons with kids, it's different and challenging. It's different having an infant. It's different having, a middle schooler. I'm raising or trying to help, raise still an adult. So those seasons just do look different. There's challenges that come along the way. So, again, it's up and down, and that motherhood piece comes in cycles of how much they need you. Listen, your babies always need you, but I mean, just what that investment is, and maybe what sort of that face time is in seasons that they have. And it's unpredictable, you can't, it's like with a client, you can't predict, when they're going to be a little bit extra needy or whatever that looks like. So, yeah. What advice would you give to a young designer or somebody in the space that also maybe was considering having a baby and considering continuing to work, but also growing her family? What would be your advice to her if you were sitting across from her right now?
I would definitely say, don't let anything hold you back. You truly can, quote unquote, have it all. You can, you're stronger than you realize. I have realized that for sure. And it can just be, it's not something that will define your life. It's something that's going to be such an incredible addition to your life. And I think that's, how you should choose a partner as well when you're looking on Hinge. So
Which us old gals still want to help you guys navigate that.
gosh, I know. I'm like, let me swipe for you, hand it over. But yeah, I just think that I think it is silly looking back that I was ever nervous about, having a child in this industry, because it is so celebrated. And like you said, we're all in different seasons, and there's so many of us that are going to be sharing the exact same season together at the same time. And then, we're all going to ebb and flow. We're all going to do different things, but there's always people there to support you and to offer you advice or just a shoulder. It's an incredible industry filled with so many incredible people.
Agreed.
And we need more incredible people in this world. So have that baby and have your career too if you want it.
Yeah, and I think it's just asking the right questions with the groups that you join, and just, being really truly honest with what you need out of a workplace. It's okay to do that. It's okay to be wicked honest during an interview or when you're looking to say, this is what I need from a personal perspective, and to support my personal life and to support my family. I think for so many years, and honestly, I think even when I started in the industry, it was like, don't tell them you have kids. Ava was little. Don't tell them you're a mom. They're going to think you're going to work less, or that you're going to have all these things that you have to run out on. And so I think that has changed quite a bit, in our industry. So I think just to layer on what you were saying, it's like, it's okay to be honest that this is what you need. Find the group that's going to support you, in those things, so that you can grow professionally, and personally. Our industry, and this, because again, I'm sure you get some wild emails at all hours, because it's a creative field. Sometimes those hours are they don't always go as planned. We work really hard here at Banko. We don't believe in overtime, but sometimes things happen, right? Deadline goes over. You have a crazy good idea and you want to get that into a project, and it might be a little late. It's okay. Does that change once you become a mother? No.
It's funny. I actually, I kind of have like my blocks of my day, if you will, where I will try to start the day emailing, and then I'll go out and about and do presentations. And then the one thing that this little girl has just like ingrained is that 6:30 bath time. And I mean, Paul and I are looking at each other. We're like, is it 6:30 yet? Like, let's do this. But usually after bath time, we'll both kind of sit down, and I'll typically email again. And I mean, with the invention of the iPhone, we are always accessible.
Plugged in.
It's kind of nice in our industry, because I know the things that I need to respond to immediately and the things that can wait until the next day. And I do think that so many people that we work with have that grace as well, for you to do that. So it's been a fairly easy transition for me, which I'm really, really happy about. And TileBar has been incredible. I work for a bunch of dudes, so I thought that they would, of course, be like, oh gosh, she's not going to come back after she has her baby. But they have been incredible and super supportive. And so it's just like you said, find that job that really does support you and supports your lifestyle and your family. Because at TileBar, they also are kind of like, we don't care what time you get it done. We just want you to get it done.
Want to get it done. We say that here too.
Yeah, absolutely. So and that really works for our lifestyle. So it's been nice.
All right. So what is the legacy, or what would you want your daughter to know, and what do you want her to see from you as an example when it comes to also balancing career? Like, what would you want her to know? Say she's 5 years old right now and she's talking about, what she wants to be maybe when she grows up one day. What do you say to her about being a working mom? Is it a positive thing? What would you say to her?
Absolutely. Again, the sky is the limit. You can do it all. As a woman in 2025, we have so many more opportunities and support that I truly think. I mean, goodness gracious, I can't even imagine when she's, our age, like what the landscape is going to look like. It's, I've thought about it before too, because I told Paul I was like the second, she applies to colleges, like I'm going to look up apartments and be like, where are mommy and Coco moving to? Because I'm coming with you and I'll never leave you. But, and then I started thinking about it and I'm like, man, the college might not even be a thing in the next 18 years. You never know.
You never know. But
so
you surely are paving the way for a gal like her and showing her that there are options. So
Well, thank you very
that's
much.
amazing to be
Yeah,
able to be an example to who we all know is going to be a very strong woman, just like her mama.
Well, I hope so. I hope to foster, any ideas or wants that she has, and try to navigate, her recreational activities to see. Of course, when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, she will do equestrian, and she will have all of the outfits. And but yeah, I can't wait to see her little personality and just see where she goes, and try to support her along the way to do whatever it is that she wants to do.
Well, I don't know if you remember this because we maybe had some cocktails together in Woodstock one night, but you looked at Dave and I. We were out with you and your husband, and you said, "Should we have a baby?" And I said, "Hell yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You'd be a fantastic mom, and if anybody can navigate the crazy world of motherhood and also crushing it in her career, surely it's you, and you can do it." So here we are, a good bit later, and you've got that baby, and you are continuing to kill it, and you're an inspiration to a lot of women. So thanks for coming on today and talking all things career and motherhood, and send baby pics.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And
You're-
Melissa, I mean, you have paved the road for us. I literally, I'm rolling out of bed at 7, and here you've already done a workout class. You've acquired another company. You're, looking amazing while doing it all. So thank you for the inspiration.
I just love having women like you in my orbit. So thanks for being in orbit.
Love that.
All right. Thanks for coming and hanging out today.
Thank you so much for having me.